super busy week. It's been fun to keep up with all of the updates that we have. I'm excited for this chance to share and touch base with everyone, kind of see what people are thinking about all the just where Stride is right now, where we're going, what we've got on the table. Um, I think we could probably go ahead and get started. I see a pretty good group of people here, and I'm sure more will join as we go. Um, but yeah, thanks Riley for being here, and thank you to our awesome audience. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to be here and to just check in with us. Once again, as you probably know, we're going to be doing these calls weekly, every Thursday at 4 p.m. UTC, noon Eastern Standard Time. Just a quick updates and check-in session, a chance for you to connect with either Riley, Aiden, or Vishal, me. Sometimes it might be a different member of the team visiting us, but this really is a chance for you to connect with us, and we are really interested in connecting with you too. So use this as an opportunity, and we will as well. But with no further ado, I'm going to pass the mic off to Riley. We've got some pretty cool things going on behind the scenes at Stride as far as just like airdrop related things, ICS related things, and I know we're excited to share with you. So I'll go on mute now. It's all you, Riley.
Cool. Thanks for teeing it up, Summer. I'll keep the updates pretty short. I want to leave time for questions and keep this pretty informal. But I'll run through a few things. So first off is airdrop. The upgrade that happened today, the V8 upgrade, was this morning. Everything was smooth, and it enabled the Atmos airdrop to happen. We haven't finalized a date for that to begin yet, but it's now possible, as is the Luna airdrop and a few others. So those should go live pretty soon. We'll keep an eye on the Twitter for specific dates. ICS. So what kind of progress is happening at Stride? Mainly we're working on the tech side. Given we're a live chain rather than a new chain, there's a lot more work that needs to happen behind the scenes to migrate IBC channels, and all the infrastructure that's needed to maintain the chain needs to be migrated. Now, nothing's happening until this goes through governance. And of course, the decision to do ICS or not is totally up to the Stride community and the hub community. They'll get to decide. And a prop will be going up at some point in the next few months, probably sooner rather than later. Another update on Evmos, there's a new DAX coming out called Forge. There was a tweet about this, but we haven't said much yet. It's a Uni v3 style kind of concentrated liquidity DEX. It's launching on Evmos pretty soon, and we're talking with them about listings for ST tokens, which could be much more efficient than the current DEXs in Cosmos. And then the last thing is we're working on a number of front-end updates. One is a DeFi dashboard. If you read our roadmap, we walk through what this might look like. Basically, it's a jumping off point that shows you what you can earn with your ST tokens across the Cosmos. And it also links to those positions. So you go manage them on Mars, on Umi, on Osmosis, on Agoric, wherever we're integrated. And then the last thing is an info.stride.zone page. That's getting pretty close to finish. We're going to try to get it over the line in the next week or two. But it'll look something like what info.osmosis.zone looks like, showing like yields that can be earned on the tokens, TVL, number of transactions, all the stuff that you typically be interested in seeing about the protocol. That's it for mine. A pretty quick wrap up of the week. Does anyone have questions on any of that or want to discuss?
I have a question. And then I also see Matt has a question. But one thing I'm just, you said like a concentrated liquidity DEX, and you were saying that like the Forge DEX is going to be like more efficient in that way. What does that mean as opposed to like a DEX as we understand it?
Yeah, good question. There are basically three popular DEX models. One is a Uni V2 model. It's also known as constant product. And it has a very simple mathematical formula for how changes in supply to asset ratios impact the price. So basically, if you trade $10 through the pool, you can pretty predictably know how the price is going to change and how much it will cost you. Stable swap is the other common model. Curve uses this on Ethereum, and Osmosis and Astroport have it on Cosmos. I think Crescent has it as well. That's a somewhat similar model where you can predict how the price is going to move by trading for when you trade $10 through the pool, but it's modeled after tokens that have high correlation. So tokens that whose prices don't deviate too much. For example, stable coins or Atom is another example. And then the third model for DEXs, which is a bit newer, is the UniV3 model. It's uses what's called concentrated liquidity, which means that depending on what the price is currently, trading $10 through the pool will have different effects on the cost of that trade and how the price moves from there. And it depends on where liquidity providers decide to provide liquidity. The consequence of that model is basically liquidity providers will only provide liquidity at price bands similar to the current price. And so all the market making is basically concentrated around the current price. And so the price and liquidity the liquidity, not the price, is very deep. And you can trade a lot of money through the pool pretty efficiently, which is the goal of a DEX.
Well, that's cool. I didn't realize there was so much variability in it's like the different models, but that's cool that that's something that we are becoming familiar with, I suppose. I'm going to take the question from Matt now. Thank you, Matt, for keeping your little hand up. Let me invite to speak. There we go. Did it work?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Sure can.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking my question. I appreciate it. I think it's interesting that Stride aims to go to replicated security, and as a hub validator, we're super interested. And I think Stride being a lean and mean app chain makes it a really great fit for the hub. And I think it will bring the Stride protocol a ton of transaction volume. And so I think it's a good thing, but obviously the validator's got to vote for it. And so I am curious if you could please give me an idea why a Stride validator would vote for that and how they benefit from Stride moving to a consumer chain and what their role may or may not be going forward if Stride was to go on the hub as a consumer chain.
Yeah, great question. We've purposefully avoided talking about this in detail until all the tech is figured out, because that should come first. And now that it's basically finished, we're planning to have a bunch of Twitter Spaces, both with the informal team, with the Hub SDK team, with the Interchain Foundation, all the core organizations that help educate validators and community members about what interchain security and replicated security look like. So there's going to be a lot of content coming up, but I can give you a preview of that right now. Basically, what's going to happen if replicated security is voted through for Stride, the current Stride validator set will stay on, but they won't be signing blocks anymore. The block signing responsibilities will now fall with the hub validators. And for that work, the hub validators will receive a small percentage of Stride inflation. That the number will be determined in the proposal and in the governance process. So we don't really have a number for that yet, but the vast majority of inflation and rewards will remain with Stride validators. Now, what will those Stride validators do? They won't be signing blocks, so they won't have to run any infrastructure. They will take on the role of, and I quote, governator, which means that they're responsible for governance and stewarding the Stride protocol and voting on behalf of their delegators if their delegators don't vote themselves. And for that work, they will be rewarded with the vast majority of what they're currently earning. So we've done some napkin math on this, and Informal's done some much more serious math, and they're going to release it soon.
that basically shows for most, basically all Stride validators, their revenue will fall slightly because they'll give some of the rewards to the hub validators, but their costs will fall dramatically. So their net profit will, in almost all cases, go up. Does that make sense, Matt?
Yeah, I guess what I don't understand is if they're not running infrastructure, how do they vote?
Through their Validator address. You don't need to run infrastructure to vote. Any delegator can vote. I may have misunderstood the question.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm not super clear. So let's just say a validator keeps their validator node wallet lean and mean, and just for security purposes, and then they predominantly stake from personal addresses. So you're saying that validator address is just responsible for voting for the tokens that are in the validator node wallet, but there won't be an actual server running behind that wallet address. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there doesn't need to be a server running behind it. But in the same way that validator addresses today vote on behalf of their constituent delegators, if those delegators don't vote themselves, that setup will continue with replicated security, and delegators will choose a validator or a governor now to delegate to, and that governor can vote on their behalf if the delegator does not vote.
Gotcha. So Stride token holders will still be able to delegate their Stride tokens to a Stride governor.
Oh yeah.
Even though the governor is not running a machine that verifies blocks. Is that am I understanding that right?
Yes, precisely. It's still
Okay.
delegated proof of stake.
Interesting.
So that we're not moving towards an Ethereum model with self bonding only. So
Okay.
they'll still delegate.
Well, I'm learning. I appreciate you teaching me.
Yeah, no, we're all learning it. The informal team understands this most deeply because they built it, and we've done a lot of the engineering work to make that compatible with Stride. So we're coming up the curve too, but it's a new world. I think it's a good world for Stride to propose moving towards. And ultimately, it's up to the validators and delegators to decide whether we take that leap. So we'll be laying out.
So will
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I didn't mean to
No,
do that.
go ahead.
Will Stride token holders delegate their Stride tokens to the governors just like through Kepler or Cosmos Station, just like they would be delegating if the validator was running infrastructure?
Yeah, totally. Same exact setup.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you so much for taking my question. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And again, we'll be going into excruciating detail in the next 2-3 weeks on this. We'll have a blog post that walks through everything, and have a bunch of Twitter spaces, and bring the team from Informal and from the SDK. Jehan and Marius are the two guys over there that spearheaded most of this. So they'll be able to answer questions as well. So we can go into any direction you want and kind of talk you through.
Okay, sounds good. I have to jump off the call. Please don't take that as a sign of disrespect that you see me jumping out. I appreciate your time, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Bye, Matt.
Great questions.
Thanks. I want to elevate Robo's question. Robo asked, how will host chain rewards to STRD holders be impacted as part of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, just for some context for the audience, Prop 8 stipulated that host chain rewards would be passed on to Stride stakers, and that's currently live. So if you're staking Stride, claim your rewards, you'll see a bunch of ST tokens. And the question is, when we move to replicated security and give some small percentage of Stride staking rewards to the hub, what will happen to the Prop 8 rewards, the rewards from the host zones? So, for example, the ST Atom. It's unclear. We haven't figured that out yet, and it'll be up to governance to decide whether some of those are shared with the hub, if at all. We'll be putting out some material on the Stride Labs team's view on this, but that doesn't need to be the Stride protocol view.
we haven't quite put numbers on it yet as to what will go into the proposal. So would encourage the community to like have that discussion, think critically about what they want to share with the hub and what they want to retain for stride stakers.
Thanks for talking us through that, Riley. We've got another question from Jose with Stakely asking, is there any estimated time for testing this with the Stride testnet and the replicated security testnet?
Great question. We're onboarding right now. So it's the process is starting. I think there's a standard checklist of items that need to be tested on that testnet. So for example, you do a bunch of IBC transfers, you test a slash, you test some like other technical things that aren't super interesting but need to be tested. I think it takes a few weeks. So we're starting that now. I guess it'll be done maybe mid-April. Does that help answer your question, Jose? Nice.
Awesome. Says, yeah, that's great. Cool. Yeah, and just kind of, I know Riley mentioned, you know, just making sure that you guys are like discussing the proposals that are coming up. Feel free, you know, we always encourage you guys to bring your discussions to our Discord server, our Telegram channels. That's like the best place for us to be able to, you know, basically see how people are feeling, check community sentiment around the proposals that are going up. So yeah, just a reminder, bring your conversations here because we care to listen in.
One of the
we've got
sorry, Summer, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, oh, and thanks, Moons, for dropping that link in the chat. But go ahead, Riley.
One kind of interesting thought experiment we were playing around with the other day in Slack for the Stride Labs team was if a portion of host chain staking rewards are shared with the hub, and if ST Atom is bridged over to Ethereum through Axelar, which is in process, you could have an Ethereum user, an Ethereum DeFi user that acquires ST Atom on, say, Uniswap. And in their staking rewards, they'll basically earn Atom inflation. But that Atom inflation will include some Stride because Stride is paying a small percentage of its staking rewards to the hub. And therefore, it's going on to ST Atom holders. It will also include a bunch of other tokens from ICS chains. So it could be kind of interesting method to spread the word about Cosmos over to Ethereum.
That's pretty cool. I like it's cool to like imagine just like the simplicity with which we'd be able to bridge just DeFi activity between Ethereum and us. I see in the chat, Robo asked, is that something that would be realized only when unstaking the ST item, for example? I was curious about how that would work.
Yeah, that's a good point. You would have to unstake it to receive those rewards. It's a little bit complicated how it works under the hood. We're still working through this because the simple approach with ST Atom that just earns Atom rewards is the price against Atom appreciates over time. But how do you handle getting rewards in other denominations? You can either pay them out, but paying out rewards across many chains and God forbid over to Ethereum is pretty difficult. You basically need to scan every address of every holder of ST Atom and send those tokens to them. There are a couple other approaches you can take, but we're exploring them right now. I don't think it's ever been done before by a liquid staking provider. And no tokens in Cosmos today have a mechanic like this. So we're working through the technical challenges, and hopefully we'll have an answer in the next month or so.
Awesome. Thanks, Riley, for answering that. We still have just a couple minutes left, you guys. Please feel free to drop whatever questions you have left over in the chat. Um, we'll give you just a couple moments to do that,
Yeah.
Riley.
Well,
What's up?
well, folks are thinking of questions. I see someone in the crowd that maybe we can pull up on stage if he's open to it. Kent just joined Stride Labs a few days ago. He's an awesome engineer. He's muted, he says.
Everybody say welcome,
Hey,
Kent.
Kent's a rock
Hey,
star.
Kent. We're happy that you're here.
Oh, hello. Hi, yes.
Hey, Kent.
Hi everyone. Yeah. Hey Riley, thanks for inviting me. Hello everyone. I'm Ken. I'm joining from another startup that was in fintech, ALMI, MLAI, but been around startups and Web3 for a little bit. So really happy to join this awesome team and develop this product for everyone. Thanks.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on the team, Kent.
Kent's incredible. You should all meet him. Yeah, Kent, these are some of the most active community members, so I'm sure you'll be crossing paths with basically everyone here.
Awesome. Yeah. I'll be keeping my eye on the server. But yeah, really excited to see so many people involved in our community.
Me too. I'm happy that we have a really good core group of people always engaging with us. It helps us keep, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, it just helps us keep in tune with you guys and what we can do to meet your needs as a community. But, well, I'm going to say going once for last round of questions. And now I'm going to say going twice. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Moons. Thank you very much for your time and for helping us set up getting this recorded and everything. Always appreciate you very much. Riley, do you have any final thoughts or phrases before we hang up for the day?
No, it's a big week for Cosmos, Noble, Quasar, all kinds of pretty exciting stuff. So
Yeah, a lot to stay tuned in on. So,
yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, this will be recorded. I'll release some basic notes from this meeting tomorrow as a part of our Friday update. So in case you missed it or you didn't miss it, you're here. In case anyone you know missed it, you can just tell them to check our Friday update. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, afternoon, night, whatever time it is where you are. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Joining.
you.
Thanks everyone.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.